Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Please listen to these words by J. Hudson Taylor. They are very, very poignant. When we work, we work. When we pray, God works. How true. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Come on, call in on a Thursday. Oh, I love that song. I do not tire of it, and I will not take it off the beginning of my program. Good morning, everybody. I'm Zeb Bell at Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. 734-6969. Let's go to the phone line right now and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
That's not the phone line.
Like I said before earlier this week, it's the mic line.
There you go, young man. Give us the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, my friend. Thank you very much. And right now it's time for the weather forecast, brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Oh, my goodness, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. They've got all your new flooring, tile, wood, or carpet, lots and lots of varieties and colors to choose from. They can have whatever you need to make your house a home. Please get a hold of them today. Wonderful, wonderful people. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. And now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch as we do get one day closer to the weekend. Looks like afternoon rain showers are in our forecast. Could be partly cloudy for most of the day, but as we move into the afternoon, rain showers are possible. Winds out of the west right around 13 miles an hour. Expect a high of 58. Tonight, low of 37. Tomorrow, getting warmer. Partly cloudy, high of 62 with an overnight low of 41. Saturday, cloudy and 63. And then for Sunday, it's all going to change. Temperatures are going to drop to about 47. It's going to be windy and rainy as well. Overnight low of 33 and then cloudy and 50 for Monday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, thank you, Gina. Great job on the weather. Her and Scotty both do a fantastic job. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door or give them a call at 678-6945, bringing you the weather. Hey, let's sell some cattle. Merv May, come on in here.
All right, you get set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, one and 31, going out 32.
I could listen to his chant all day long. The world's best auctioneer, Merv May, right there at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. And the number to call the sale yard for more information on the sale today at 10:30, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Shoresman Ranch over to Sublet. Hello, they're bringing in 110 head of 550 to 750 pounders. And Kelly War over to Grouse Creek, bringing in a big semi-load of, I believe, 5 to 650 pounders. Oak Valley Dairy's bringing in 60 head of butcher cows. TLK Dairy out of Mountain Home bringing in 40 head of cows. And Acme Dairy is bringing in 20 head of cows. Another ripping good sale day today at the sale that works for you. Burley Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Call the number 678-9411 for sale information. And Merv, sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves there here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135.5, selling $35. Zeb Bell gets bottom.
No, I tell you what, Merv, thank you very much. Merv, one of the nicest guys in the world, and that sale doing very, very well. Thank you. Hey, on this Saturday, March 5th, I want to remind you, too, that St. Nicholas is going to have a German sausage supper. Oh, I wished I could get over for that. I love German sausage suppers. They're going to have German sausage, sauerkraut, baked beans, baked potato salad rolls, homemade pie. Oh, I mean, look out. It's going to be great. And it's at the St. Nicholas Hall, 806 F Street in Rupert on Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. German sausage. I love that. Oh, my goodness. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They open the doors at 7:30 in the morning till 5 Monday through Friday, and they do honestly have everything you need for heating and electrical. That's true. I don't care if you're going in for a light bulb, or a whole bunch of wire or whatever. They've got it for you at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Yeah, they have the white bulbs. Well, they are. Anyway, you can call ahead and have your order waiting for you on the counter at 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Really, really nice folks. Oh, by the way, too, yesterday was one of those days where no matter what happened, I was thinking about gorging myself on a great big breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I wanted to stop into Denny's restaurant so bad. But I spent my whole afternoon at the optometrist. Getting my eyes checked, getting them dilated, and then you walk into walls and you can't see anything for like 3 days. Anyway, back to Denny's. Wanted to stop into Denny's and have my favorite meal, of course, is breakfast any time of the day at America's Diner. Denny's restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley, and their new location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. Denny's restaurant. You stop in and see them today. You know, it's silly. It's absolutely silly and juvenile what is going on with the Republican Party, and it's got to stop. I said earlier this week I wasn't going to devote a lot of time, or most of the time, to politics in regards to the primaries, etc. But I'm fed up with this schoolyard bickering in the Republican Party. Now, there are those in the Republican Party that have called me and chastised me and said, oh, well, this is all part of the primary process, and Trump's not the guy. Oh, no, we can't have him in there. Oh, no, it'd be terrible. It'd be denigrating. It just can't have that. Well, as far as I'm concerned right now, and I don't give a rip whose toes I stand on, they shouldn't be dancing if they don't want their toes stepped on. Rance Priebus and the Republican Party are acting like clowns looking for a circus. And it's very disgusting and it's very disturbing. Now, the GOP made demands on Donald Trump, and I want to stop right there. And I want to say this so that everybody can understand. I am not advocating Donald Trump. I am not saying I am pushing for his candidacy. I am not saying I want him as president. I am not saying anything. I'm just saying this, and I want you to remember it. Remember it. Bit my tongue. He adhered to their rules and regulatory means when he threw his hat in the ring. Oh, well, we've got to have Donald Trump sign a note here that is put out by us that he will not go independent. He's going to remain a Republican. We got to have him follow the rules. We got to have him stay right with our party, etc. Remember all the press conferences and everything when he signed that agreement? Oh, yeah. He's one of us now, said the Republican Party. Now they're trying to throw him out with the garbage. And they're making fools out of themselves. The GOP establishment, the old guard, and I'll say it again, they are acting like children, and they're fragmenting the party. And this morning at 9:30 our time, 11:30 Eastern, Mitt Romney is going to get in the fray. Now, I've had an awful lot of respect for Mitt Romney, dating years back when he got involved in the Olympics and basically saved the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, in Salt Lake City. I thought he had more class. But this morning at 9:30, he's going to make a big speech, and I imagine that most of it, according to the sheets that I have on preliminaries, I just had this sent to me from the Daily Caller back in Washington, D.C., that it's going to be kind of a down and dirty thing against Donald Trump, and he's going to go after Trump in every way, shape, or form in his effort, Mitt Romney's, to try to unify an anti-Trump option. And, according to the Daily Caller this morning, he might even throw his hat back in the ring to run for president. What do you think about that? What do you think about what's going on with the Republican Party? All of this is aiding and abetting and filling the wine glass for Hillary to take the presidency in November. I am really worried, and this is not theatrical. I'm worried for my family. I'm worried for your families. I'm worried for the future of America. I'm worried about our economy. I'm worried about our national security. I'm worried about a backward step into a regressive attitude in this country if Hillary Clinton gets elected as president. I am fearful. She is a vindictive, vile woman that has no business being in any elected office whatsoever. And I'm going to throw another major problem that the Reince Priebus's and the GOP are causing in just a moment, so stay tuned. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, with a great lineup of physical therapists headed up by Nick Greenwell. Boy, they know all the exercises. They know all the sports medicine. They've got that hydrotherapy pool, the only one of its type in the area. Oh, this is a great place to help you get back to being you. Absolutely. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation in Burley. Number to call, 678-1191. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, the Republican Party has just about turned their back on the nation. You know, this last election, they said if they got in there, they would slow down Obama. They would cut the funding off. We elected them. They got in there. They've been there 2 years, and they've stopped nothing. They've just turned their back on the nation.
I agree with you.
I just think they are a sick group of people that is really not very good to their word at all.
Well, they've had an opportunity.
I'm just really upset with them over not doing what they said they would do when they got the House and the Senate.
Amen.
They have not kept their word in any way. They're just a bunch of lying liars.
All right, Jerry, stop. Wait a minute. Answer this. Okay, now you've had your remarks against the Republican Party and the way it's fractured. I've given my remarks about a juvenile situation with the Republican Party and how it's fractured and how I'm against them. But Jerry, doggone it, what are we going to do? We cannot put the likes of a liberal as devastating and anti-American as Hillary is in the White House in November. So what are we going to do?
You know, Zeb, I wished I had the answer. I have no faith at all in Hillary, or I can't think of the other guy's name right now.
Well, Bernie Sanders.
They're communists. They do not work for a free society. I have no answer. I am just so upset, though, that the Republicans did not keep their word. They did not even try to keep their word.
Absolutely.
And that just really upset me.
Well, it should. It should upset everybody because we're in a really a quagmire right now. I don't know, and I've talked to a lot of people that I respect. We are in a situation where if this election goes to Hillary with a green energy compliance and all the things she wants to do that are going to cost us absolutely billions with a B, billions and billions of dollars, a lack of national security, a lack of a person that we can trust and have faith in the White House that might be indicted and thrown in prison in less than a year. I mean, what kind of a society are we, Jerry?
I think we're heading the same way as our countries like Greece and the people before us. Your politicians just kept getting corrupter and corrupter and corrupter, and pretty quick they broke the back of the nation.
I agree with you. Jerry, thank you.
It's a crying shame because we are a wonderful country. We are unbelievably strong. We have very, very, very many assets, and we're running them down the tube.
Amen. Jerry, thank you for your call. I got to get a commercial break in, but Jerry, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
You bet. I hate to be so darn negative because I do love this country, and I do love, the people in this country, but I just cannot see why they are doing what they are doing.
I agree.
Great day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. God bless you, man. Thanks. He's right. I agree with him. It's a mess right now, and it's got to be cleaned up, and I don't see a broom big enough to take care of it. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to give you my own personal belief on something in just a moment, and you can call and you can say, you're wacko, you old cowboy. I don't care what you call me. I don't care how you believe or disbelieve in what I'm about to say. But I think it's the truth. And I'll get to that in just a moment. Mini-Cash Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport with Zach and the rest of the crew. Oh, my goodness, hang on to your hats. They've got everything, all your lumber packages for remodeling, and they've got all your roofing, your shingles, and they've got an upgrade with your windows, with the Western windows, and a lot of carpet over there, too. And they can help you with the people that can put it in and install it for you. I'm telling you, this is a great business, and they sponsor Dr. History on Tuesdays. Mini-Cash Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. Really good folks. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, before I tell you my thoughts, my very personal thoughts on a problem, I want to remind you about Berry Equipment and Rental. Now, I've been telling you every day that they've got the equipment to get the job done right. They've got all the Coyote tractors. What a great selection at all three locations, in Twin, in Jerome, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Now, they've got all the 25 horsepower and up, and they got a great deal right now on a 3510 with a loader. Oh, I wished I had this tractor for just $19,450. Great warranty, great financing available. You better check it out today at Berry Equipment and Rental. Twin Falls, Jerome, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Berry Equipment and Rental. Here are my thoughts. And again, you can pick them apart if you'd like. But you know what the Republican Party is doing right now? Acting like children with all this in-house bickering. They're acting like little kids that the babysitter stepped out of the room for about 10 minutes, and they're just tearing the place apart. But here is a major problem the way I see it. They are condemning Donald Trump, and they're calling him a con man. They are saying that he is this. Caller, hang on just a minute. I'm going to finish my point, and then I'll have you respond to it. They are saying that he's this, that, and the other, and that he's terrible for the Republican Party, and they're saying we'll do anything to get anybody else we can. But what are they doing by blaspheming Donald Trump? They are absolutely taking a very new, large percentage of voters that had previously, up till now, been very disenfranchised with the way that Washington is being run and also how elections are being run. Trump has stimulated through his campaign, and you can't dispute this, a backing across the United States that absolutely they are very supportive. What is the Republican Party going to do when they basically slap those voters in the face by trying to replace Donald Trump? You're going to have an election of absolute no consequence and a shoo-in for Hillary. If you disenfranchise those people and you take away their incentive to go to the polls for a major change in America, you're going to end up with percentages probably back down in the low 20s or teens as far as voter turnout is concerned. I see a movement in this country with people that want to get involved because they're sick of what's going on in Washington. And the Republican Party is about ready to kill that off. That's my opinion. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm a Mexican Americano, and I'm going to vote and I'm a Republican. And I'm going to vote for the Republican Party. And if whoever gets it, Donald Trump or Cruz or Marco Rubio, that's okay with me. We need to stop this Democratic regime. Hillary has no business running for president.
I agree.
I agree with you, Seth.
Well, let me ask you something. Let me ask you this question because you're a very good listener and a true patriot. I think I am right that if they take and try to displace Donald Trump and displace his voters and displace his support, they're going to take the party and throw it in the trash can, and it's going to be a limited amount of voters turning out for the election, and we're going to see an open door for Hillary if we keep acting in this stupid, frivolous way.
Being a Hispanic American and a Christian one, let me tell you something. There are a lot of us here in Burley, Idaho, that are Christian Americans, Mexicanos. So I resent the fact that every time I go shopping that I'm considered an illegal alien. There's no such thing. I was born and raised in Texas.
Yes.
And I came here to Idaho back in 1962.
Yes.
And I've been here over 60 years. And you know what? I'm still considered illegal, and I resent that.
Well, sir, I know you've called to my program many, many times, and I respect you, and I have a lot of gratitude for you calling into my program, and I think you and I are on the same page that this has got to be put together. They've got to get a great big bottle of Elmer's glue, and they better start gluing back the Republican Party before it's too late.
There's a lot of illegals in this part of the country. They don't care for us Texans.
That's right.
They don't care for us true patriotic Mexicanos Americanos. And I'm sick and tired of that.
I don't blame you at all.
Both sides, sometimes from the Anglo community and from the illegal alien community.
Well, you, like I said before,
hard for us, you know.
I absolutely agree with you, and I want you to know that anytime you're ever going by my place, stop in and visit with me. I'd love to talk to you face to face. God bless you for your call. Thank you. Take care, sir. Thanks. That is one of the nicest gentlemen, and I really do appreciate his calling in. You can tell he's a very, very proud individual. He's proud to be an American citizen. Your thoughts? Come on. What do you think? If Mitt Romney gets on in an hour from now, as a matter of fact, and creates more of a denigration, more of a split, more of a fracturing, what about the voters? What about the millions and millions of voters that are going to take that as a slap in the face? What about those folks? Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, you know what? Don't forget about Dr. Christine Pickup at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and I urge you to get a hearing screening. I really, really do. And caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. The number to call, 312-0957. She's located right across from the Minidoka Hospital emergency room. And don't let your hearing get lower and lower and lower. Make sure you check it out today. And it could be medicine related. It could be something to do with your health, your heart, diabetes, etc. Don't take any chances. Get a hearing screening today from Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids at 312-0957. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Zeb. How you doing today?
I'm good. Have you got a radio on in the background, or are you on a cell phone?
I'm on my cell phone, you know.
Okay, hold that phone really, really still because you're not coming through very well. Go ahead quickly. Thank you.
Well, I'm driving right now.
Okay,
I
fast.
was out driving around yesterday, went down to get a load down around in Utah. I'm listening to KSL radio, and they had a commentator on there talking about the Mitt Romney speech today.
Yes.
And what he was saying was he thinks that this thing with Mitt Romney is revenge for him losing his race in 2012. He's going to muck it all up and make the Republicans lose again and give it to Hillary.
Well, the way things are shaping up, I can't dispute that. As a matter of fact, it's almost verbatim what I said and have said for the last couple of days. And I think if Mitt Romney is doing it as revenge, Mitt Romney should sit down, put some duct tape over his mouth, and shut up. Because, quite frankly, the only person that lost the election was Mitt Romney. It wasn't anybody else. He didn't have the drive, the desire, and, quite frankly, the motivation to go ahead and attack Obama on various principles, and he lost the election on his own.
Yeah, he didn't have the fortitude to stand up and fight and, poke the other guy in the eye, you might say. And, that would be, he just sat back and like, okay, vote for me.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
I appreciate your call. You're coming in. You're really coming in weak this morning, but I do appreciate your call because you brought up a really good point. Thank you, sir. God bless you for your call. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to revert back, and I'm going to say this, and I think you will agree with me, that when they were having the debates with Romney and Obama, Mitt Romney shot himself in the foot for not being assertive and not being, quite frankly, manly when he let Candy Crowley, the moderator, jump in and make a point for Obama, and the point was wrong. The point was wrong. And Mitt Romney, right there, at that juncture, told the world that he was not tough enough to stand up and bark back. He let Candy Crowley control his answer, or lack of. And that was the turning point, I think, and a lot of people have agreed with me, that was the turning point where Mitt Romney lost the election. Because he didn't put Obama in his place, nor did he put Candy Crowley in hers. She's a moderator that asks questions. She is not supposed to deliver the answers and aid and abet one of the candidates, which she did with Obama. And if Romney has any thoughts of revenge or animosity about the way he lost the election, I suggest he buys a full-length mirror and look at himself. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. When you're playing politics, I don't care if it's issues over Russia. I don't care if it's issues over China. I don't care if it's issues over the fat little leader of North Korea. Today, people want assertiveness. Today, people want somebody that's going to stand up for them and the red, white, and blue of this country. Caller, I'll be right there, I promise. Hold on just 30 seconds. Don't forget the 21st annual. This is a fantastic sale. Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale this coming Saturday at 1 o'clock at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Lunch will be provided at noon, I know, because Patty Sheridan's going to put it all together. Ooh, good eating. And don't forget, this is the problem-free cattle bull sale. You bet 85 bulls to sell and free delivery up to 300 miles. I know Cordell and Patty over the many, many years have put together one of the best herds in the United States. So don't miss this bull sale starting at 1 p.m. this Saturday at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale. You be there. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Boy, I'm telling you, when I heard that this morning on the news, that man is nothing but a spoiler.
Why is he doing it, Chris? You tell me.
I don't know, because you know what? People are really getting behind Donald Trump, and I think at this point in our country's history, America better go with the person that's going to do the greatest good for this country. And I don't think that we need to shine a magnifying glass on Trump. He's been out in the public eye. Most of us know exactly what we're getting. And when I was watching that debate with Romney, you could see the Republican Party going down the drain.
Do you agree with me?
He lost his courage.
Do you agree with me that was the turning point right there when he let Candy Crowley interrupt him and give an answer for Obama and in favor of Obama? I personally will stand up and go toe-to-toe with anybody. That was when Romney lost the election.
Yeah, and he lost his nerve. He didn't stand up and say, hey, this is wrong. And, he could have. And up until that point, he looked very presidential. But if he's going to come back in and think he can take up where he was before that debate, he's not going to. He's shown us once that he doesn't have the backbone to
All right, and answer this, Chris, real quick. I've got other calls waiting, too, and I want to make sure everybody gets a fair shot. But do you agree with me on my opinion that if the Republican Party goes after Trump like they're chasing a dog down the street, the voters, the voting masses that are supporting of Trump, what is going to happen to them?
Well, if there's going to be a conservative party in this country, this is its last chance.
I agree.
Yeah.
You are always welcome on the show. God bless you, and thank you for your call. Thank you. Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hey, concerning Romney and that debate, he should have just called that old gal and just said, hey, I'm the one that's debating here, and you back out of it. And these moderators that we've seen in these debates are pathetic. The town halls are much better than the debates. But I just can't see that Romney is going to spoil this for Trump. And I'm not a Trump fan, but he's my better choice. Cruz is my man, or even Carson. I like Carson too, but he doesn't bear enough credence in my mind to ruin this. And the Republican National Party, or whatever you want to call them, the leadership only has themselves to blame for their inability when, Cruz got up, was it last fall or the fall before, and did that filibuster and tried to keep that financial thing from going through. Nobody would get behind him, only 3 or 4 other senators, I think Lee from Utah. But anyway, I just don't see him having the power or the charisma to change anybody's mind that's already thinking about any of these other men.
You know what? I thought you gave an excellent dissertation, and I hope and pray that you are right. But here's what I see. I see more people are going to be getting involved in a Stop Trump movement, whether it's Romney or whomever, in the next 48 to 20 or whatever hours, because tonight's the debate, and I think it's going to be an all-out free-for-all against one individual. That's not a debate, that's a slugfest. And I agree with you, but I honestly believe that the Republican Party has got to sit down as of tomorrow morning, and they'd better look at their whole card, and it better not be a joker, it better be an ace, because they're about ready to destroy the party, I think, forever in this country.
Yep, that's true. Yep.
All right, sir. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Call again. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. That man brought some very good points. And, quickly, before I go to the next call, I want to say this. Mitt Romney could have stopped Candy Crowley in her tracks. I mean, literally shut her up in a very polite way. If he would have looked at her and said, now, Candy, you realize as a moderator, you are doing a disservice to this debate by interrupting me and giving an answer for my opponent. I would prefer that you ask the questions and we answer them. And he could have made her look so small, and in her case it would take a lot because she's a rather large woman, but he could have made her look so small in a very professional way. But he didn't do it, and it's his fault. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
I'm not sure as to why, but they hung up again, sir.
Well, shame on you for allowing that to happen. You have now just lost over half your income for the next month.
My apologies.
I'm kidding you. Thanks, Wheels. I appreciate it. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There's no room for being wishy-washy. I made it a point on this program a long time ago that somebody said, well, why don't you just kind of be a middle-of-the-road talk show host? This is years and years and years ago. Why don't you just be a middle-of-the-road talk show host and let people on both sides just kind of call and do that? And I said, I can't do that. I said, if I were a listener, that would be the biggest mishmash of nothing. If you can't assert yourself, and you can't form an opinion, and you can't stand up for an opinion, why would anybody want to listen, and what kind of respect will they have for you? None. I'm not going to change the way I feel. I'm certainly not going to change the way I do this program, because I think we're in trouble. I think America's in trouble, and that's not theatrical. We've got some real problems. And this election, I think, is going to be the most critical for our kids, future generations, but also for us right now, the seniors, the young families, the people that are really suffering. This is a very critical election. And we can't let a Democrat take it over that absolutely has un-American values. Stepped on your toes? Well, that's your problem. Don't forget the weather right now, brought to you by Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. I got to tell you, I've known Scott Gano now for quite a few years, and he and his crew are excellent. And right now is the time to get your trees properly pruned. I love saying that, properly pruned. And believe me, they can take care of all the stump removal and all the hazardous limbs and everything. They know trees. This man, Scott's originally from New York State. And boy, if you've ever been back there, they've got trees upon trees upon trees. So he knows trees. Let me tell you, he is the best along with his crew. And don't forget, too, if you need a new sprinkler system put in, oh, they are good. 336 South, 450 West Paul. Two numbers, 438-2485, and the cell number, 431-8733. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Here's the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for us up at the ranch as we do get one day closer to the weekend. Looks like afternoon rain showers are in our forecast. It'll be partly cloudy for most of the day, but as we move into the afternoon, rain showers are possible. Winds out of the west right around 13 miles an hour. Expect a high of 58. Tonight, low of 37. Tomorrow, getting warmer. Partly cloudy, high of 62 with an overnight low of 41. Saturday, cloudy and 63. And then for Sunday, it's all going to change. Temperatures are going to drop to about 47. going to be windy and rainy as well. Overnight low of 33 and then cloudy and 50 for Monday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
A great job, Gina. Thank you very much. And brought to everybody by Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. 336 South, 450 west of Paul. You call them today at 431-8733. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587, and we'll talk about this. You know, this debate tonight, man, I've taken the whole hour on this, and I apologize, but I think it's extremely important to mention this. I don't look at this as a debate. I really don't look at this as a debate, and I'll tell you one thing right now. The Fox News moderators, they'd better keep this thing in check, or it's going to turn into a back alley brawl. You've got Kasich and Cruz, and you've got Rubio that have loaded their guns, and they're going to be aiming at one person only, and that's Donald Trump. And what I fear is instead of the real policies that we need to hear, we're going to hear nothing more than an anti-let's dump Trump campaign at the debate podiums tonight. And I think that's the worst thing they can do, because they're going to be disenfranchising, like I said earlier, so many voters and turning off so many people that I just wonder if they can ever put a Band-Aid on the cut that they're going to cause tonight. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the moderators will keep everything in check. Maybe the questions will be more on policy and how to maybe disavow Obamacare, or how to maybe increase national security, how to get rid of ISIS, how we can help ourselves with other nations and gain back respect. I don't know. I hope so. But I see this as nothing more than a brass knuckles brawl with one man in the middle of it, and that's Trump. What are your thoughts? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Well, I'm waiting for your call. Don't forget Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair, 635 21st Street, El Fesco Road in Heyburn, and the number to call, 878-4991. Yeah, it used to be Ted's Diesel Electric Service, and Doug bought it back in 2009 and changed the name now to Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair. You bet rebuilding starters, alternators, generators. Oh, I'll tell you, and sell them brand new too. Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair in Heyburn. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. I don't know that it'd be necessarily a dump Trump debate, because if you watch the previous debates and interviews and different things, nobody ever makes Mr. Trump come forward with an actual plan, an actual explanation of what he's actually going to do. It's just always make America great, or he never finishes anything he starts to say. He changes to a whole nother subject about halfway through. So until the other candidates put his feet to the fire, you never actually hear any real parts of what his plans are, if he actually has any. So I think more what it is they are trying to actually get him to admit what he is really going to do. And one of those things is his socialized medicine plan, his socialized health care plan, and things like that. So I don't necessarily think it's a dump on Trump. I think it's just, let's get Trump to actually tell us what he's going to do. All
right, now I've given you time to make your case, and now I'm going to give a rebuttal. That's not the field of nominees' jobs. That's the moderator's job. And that has been poorly done at every single one of the debates so far. There has not been any moderator, male or female, that has had the teeth, the guts, or the grit to stand up and say, you shut up and don't interrupt this person until he's done. And quite frankly, they need to have a leash on them. I'm looking at this thing to where now it's the 11th hour for a lot of these GOP candidates. candidates, and you know this is true, and you also know that it's true that they want to do everything they can to take Trump and his support and his voters and move them into the background, and I don't want to see the debate go that way tonight.
Well, and that's right, and that is why these candidates have figured out that that's the only way that the American people are going to see what Trump really is if they are the ones that have picked up the ball to force him to actually come out with what he's actually about. And because, otherwise, because they know that these moderators and the liberal news media is in that camp, and they're not going to force him to actually come out and say what he's about.
All right, now
tonight maybe things will be the debate, maybe things will be different.
All right, but you missed wait a minute. You missed a point that I made earlier, and I want you to respond to this. What about the Trump support? What about the millions upon millions of new interested voters that jumped on the Trump train? Are you just going to disavow them and throw them out in the wayside?
If you look at the polls, poll after poll after poll, Ted Cruz beats Trump every time, and so
that's not true.
And Hillary, her poll numbers and her vote numbers are the lowest, and the Democrats are the lowest they've ever been, and so I think if Ted Cruz comes forward and becomes the nominee, we shouldn't have any trouble beating Hillary with Ted Cruz.
All right, now I have to correct you. Wait a minute. Don't hang up.
The person that people have been praying for in this country. Yeah. He loves God. He loves America. He's a constitutional man. And compare him to the kind of man that Trump is, for heaven's sake. And how in the world can you support Trump if you actually, how many of your listeners can call in and tell you what Trump's plan is?
All right, I appreciate your remarks, but one thing I have to correct you on, and I only deal in facts on this program. You said any and every poll shows that Cruz can beat Trump. That is not true, and that's not validated, because I
misspoke. I didn't mean any and every, but I mean a majority. A lot of the polls show that Cruz beats Trump. But at any rate, I would challenge your listeners to call in and actually lay out the plan that Mr. Trump has.
I appreciate your call, and we'll ask them just for that. But you know something? I'm worried about the fragmentation, and I don't think you can argue that point because it's there and it's got to be repaired. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Caller, good morning. Thank you for your patience. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb, again. I hate to have to call in twice in one morning, but, the lady's wrong. It's the news media. It's a hate session in these debates, and they're heading them that way. That's what they've started out with to get in the beginning. From the first debate on, there has never been any questions led to the candidates of how they would solve this or how they thought about that. It is just, let's figure out how to go after one or the other person. It's a hate fest, and it's ridiculous.
I agree. Jerry, thank you again for your call. God bless you, man. Thanks. Caller,
have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Caller number 2, go ahead. You're on the air, and then I'm going to do a commercial break. Go ahead, please, quickly.
Yeah, the lady's wrong. Polls can say all they want, but the facts state right now that Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz cannot beat Trump, and they are not beating Trump. Polls are just guesses by people and people's opinions. The facts are Trump's kicking their butt.
Well, when you look at what happened on Super Tuesday, and I don't care what and where you look at it, whether it's Texas, that's Ted Cruz's home state. He won, okay? And Rubio won a state that surprised me, and that's Minnesota. But we're talking about minuscule wins. We're talking about minuscule achievements. Trump has made an overall far-reaching approach to the voting public, and they're on his bandwagon. What's the Republican Party going to do? Are they going to disenfranchise and turn all those voters into staying home mad and never vote again? That's what I see happening.
Well, the Republican Party's turning into just what the American public is against. Is the American public are speaking, and they're speaking for Trump, and Rubio and Mark and Ted Cruz are jumping in there with bringing Romney in to try to discredit Trump, and what that's doing too is slamming all the people that are for Trump, and that's what the people are doing, and they're tired and fed up with politicians and the way they are and their antics, and they want to change, and Donald Trump is the change they're looking for.
I appreciate your call. Thank you for taking the time to call in. Thank you very much. You know, again, I'll go back to what I said first thing this hour, and I mean this. I'm not advocating Donald Trump, and I'm not going to state my reasons at this particular time, and I'm not going to show the candidate that I really would like to have in the forefront. Doesn't make any difference what my thoughts are on that right now. My main worry is the Republican Party and its stature and status in the United States. And with this childish bickering and fighting and acting like clowns that can't put their makeup on, this is doing nothing but aiding and abetting an open-door policy for the Democrats to say, "Welcome, Mrs. President," to Hillary Clinton. I've got to pay some bills quickly and get out of here. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, and serving is the key word. They've got some fantastic tire buys on various tires for your cars, pickups, SUVs, horse trailers, everything. You stop in and check out all the great tire buys right now, because spring and summer are right around the corner. And don't forget, too, the very best in brake value service. Oh, my goodness. And they'll give you a free pre-trip safety check on your vehicle. They really care. They really provide the service. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Thank you, each and every person, for calling in this first hour. God bless you. I appreciate it. And we're going to take a break for 6 minutes and be back with more. You stay tuned. Oh my, here we go. Hour number 2. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, and along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always Georgia's soul. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
They are always at your disposal, Western Waste Services. And I said the other day, and I meant it, maybe you need to clean out the garage for the spring. Get it all spiffed up. Maybe you need to clean out your basement. Maybe I need to clean out my office. Oh, I wonder if there's a dumpster big enough. Well, they've got dumpsters in various sizes. Locally owned and operated, Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them today. Wonderful people, 734-6969. Western Waste Services. Also, while I've got just a moment before we go over to the Chamber of Commerce for our report, I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with a really, really nice man and his family and staff, Joel Heward, manager. Oh, my. Flexible hours, always there, literally, to serve you when you need help and assistance. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, with the number to call, 436-5636. And believe me, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity, serving you and your family. Hanson Mortuary, 436-5636. 5636. Well, it's time for the Chamber of Commerce report, and over the river and through the woods we go. Good morning, Kay Cameron. How are you at the Minidoka and Mini-Cassia, I should say, Chamber of Commerce?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day in Mini-Cassia. It's been such beautiful weather. Spring is in the air, and it's fabulous.
It is, and right now let's get to the meat of what we're going to talk about. What's going on at the Chamber?
Well, there's always lots going on, but what I want to talk to the listeners about today really revolves around economic development and moving forward in our community and future growth. And our board had our board meeting this morning, and our chamber board has taken a position, as we always do, in support of the Cassia County School Bond. Our board always feels that our community needs to support a school bond, whether it be in Cassia or Minidoka County, because our economic growth in our community is so vitally tied to our schools, and it is very important that we continue to meet the needs that we have in our schools, because it is such a key component to economic development and economic growth.
I could not agree more. And we had those good folks on our program yesterday, and, you know, Kay, they are good people. And for this to all be happening and all the disruption it's caused in the community and everything, it's time to come together and say, really, what is the best way to go and what's best for the children?
Absolutely, and not just for the children, but for the growth of our community. So I know that there is a business that has been here on a couple of site visits. I know that there is a business that has been to the Rivergate crossing on a site visit. We don't know the types of things that these businesses look for. I know after the Minidoka School Bond passed a few years ago, that I had a business come to me that was, you know, teetering on the fence. Do we go there or do we not? And they said, you know what, we want to come to a community that supports school bonds, that supports future growth, and supports these kinds of things. So these businesses that are looking at coming to our community, we don't know if they're following the school bonds or not, but we need to grow and have a vision for our future. Our schools need to have adequate space. We've got lots of housing developments going in and subdivisions, and we've got to have room for these kids to fit. And so that as we're out there working to recruit new businesses coming to our community, that we can actually say, we have good schools, we have adequate space, and we can continue to provide the needs that we need to be a player in our community. Absolutely.
Kay, real quick, I've got about 30 seconds left. What else is happening at the Chamber? And I really appreciated you bringing up those last remarks. Thank you. What else is going on?
We have our women's seminar coming up in April. We have spaces available for vendors. If anybody's interested, contact Jackie here at our office, and you can get more information about that. But I just really want to encourage people to get out and support in favor of the Cassia County School Bond and do your due diligence there. Absolutely. How can people find out more of what's happening at the Chamber of Commerce? Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us online at minicashiachamber.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Thanks. God bless. We'll see you next Thursday. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Kay Cameron at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. By the way, don't forget Let's Ride 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. My goodness, that's where the fun is sold. I made this point a couple of weeks ago, and it's true, and I finally got my bikes over there this week. I took my ATVs over there to get serviced. Get your ATVs, dirt bikes, boats, everything in there to be serviced now so that when the weather turns and it's nice, you can hit the water, the roadways, the trails, whatever. Be sure and get them serviced today at Let's Ride. And don't forget, they've got a brand new selection over there of ATVs. Look at that showroom. It's huge. And all the accessories where the fun is sold. Let's Ride 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World.
Let's go to the phone line right now, and I am really proud that my dear friend Kyle James selected us to be one of the advertisers for Urgent Care of Twin Falls. And they have locations in Burley and Jerome, and now a brand spanking new location in Twin Falls at 2392 Addison Avenue East, right by Kmart and Harley-Davidson. And on the phone with me is Ashley Hamilton, and she is affiliated with Urgent Cares of Burley, Jerome, and Twin Falls. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. Now, how long have you been connected with the Burley location of the Riverview Urgent Care?
Well, I've been with them about 3 years now.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about your background and what you do and what your title is.
Sure. I graduated from BYU, Idaho with a degree in medical assisting, and I was lucky enough to find a job here in Burley with Kyle and his family. They had already started the Burley clinic about 6 months before that. So I started kind of at the bottom, and I've worked my way up, and I help them manage now.
Okay, you are a certified medical assistant. Now, for people like myself that don't understand exactly what that means, what does your job entail?
My job entails anything the doctor tells me to do. So I am in charge of taking patients back once they check in. I put them in their exam rooms. I do their whole patient intake. I figure out why they're here, what we're going to be able to do to help them. After the provider goes in to see them, I run any tests or help with any procedures that might need to be done.
Okay, now,
anything that he tells me to do.
Ashley, let's talk a little bit about the urgent care philosophy. And it started in Burley and then Jerome and now in Twin Falls. Tell us the value to our listeners as to why they should be very, very interested in urgent care.
Well, urgent care, it has a convenience factor. We're walk-in clinics, so anytime. We're here pretty much all day, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. You can come in whenever is good for you. We take insurances, Medicaid, Medicare. Also, we do self-pay options, too. It's very convenient. We can get you in and out. We do x-rays. We can draw labs, anything really that a person might need. Okay,
let's give a little scenario here. Somebody's doing some spring cleaning around the house, and they're up on the ladder, and they slip and they fall, and they don't know whether they've broken their ankle or whether it's a sprain. Give us the scenario, what they need to do and what they can do.
Well, in that case, you'd come in here. We would do an x-ray for you. If it's broken, we can splint it up for you, refer you to the orthopedist. We can help you in that process. If not, we'll give you the splint, the crutches, whatever you need, and we'll just follow up with you in a couple days to a week and help you figure out what's going on.
So it literally is true for minor emergencies, it's major care. Explain that a little bit more.
Unfortunately, we can't do the huge major emergencies that require emergency room visits. But for little things like you cut yourself chopping food, getting ready for dinner, you fell off the ladder, you hurt your ankle, those kinds of things, instead of going to the emergency room and waiting for who knows how long it could be, you can come into our facility and be seen, not hopefully, but within a half hour. We aim for 30-minute visits.
Okay.
So it's a quick thing. The minor emergencies with major care, we're able to really help patients.
And the location in Twin, this is really a prime location right there on Addison East going into Twin. Talk a little bit about this brand new urgent care of Twin Falls. It is a beautiful location.
Yeah, we're really excited about this one. Everything is brand new, so it's a really nice facility. We have a great staff up there. Like you said, the location is fantastic. It's on the side of town where there's not a lot. It's growing still, so you have that factor to build into. Of course, there's St. Luke's there, but we're able to kind of work with them and help them take care of the patient load.
Okay, now, this is really something that's interesting to a lot of people about the accepting of insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, and also discounts for self-pay. Would you like to elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. So with our self-pay discount, we do a 30% discount. Your visit will start out at $95 for a new patient, and any tests or procedures aren't included in that price, but as long as you have that $95, we're able to work with you.
Now, the thing is about just walking in. I mean, they could be driving downtown, they could be going into Twin to shop or Burley or Jerome, and all of a sudden things just happen. They might have a little accident, they might have a cut or whatever, and they can literally walk in, no appointments necessary, correct?
Correct. Yep, that's one of the convenience factors that we absolutely love. It's pretty easy.
Well, this is something that I think is long overdue, and you've got 3 locations. Why don't you give us the exact street addresses for all 3, if you would?
Sure. So the one in Burley is 382 382 North Overland Avenue. Twin Falls is, let me pull that back up.
I've got it right here if you don't have it. I've got 2392 Addison Avenue East.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And the Jerome one is on Avenue A. So it's right off the main road.
And what about telephone numbers? If they want more information, the Twin Falls Urgent Care just went through their grand opening on Monday. Can people still give a call and kind of come in and see the facilities?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. We would love to have anyone is welcome to come in.
Well, I want to say thank you. You've got a very cheerful voice, and you're the certified medical assistant at now the urgent care in Burley and Jerome and Twin with their brand new location. Ashley, thank you so much, and I'll bet you old Kyle's smiling like a Cheshire cat because he's really providing a great service for the Magic Valley.
I agree. Thank you for having us on.
Oh, thank you, and have a wonderful weekend, okay?
You too.
All right, thank you. I'll tell you what, folks, I know the family, the James family, and I know the effort, and I know the blood, sweat, and tears they put into developing these urgent care centers in Burley, Jerome, and Twin Falls, and it's a great, great concept and great idea for you to receive, literally, urgent care for minor emergencies with major care. So be sure and remember that. Twin Falls, Jerome, and Burley. Really nice people. Oh, my goodness. We got to pay some bills here real quick. Want to remind you about Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Oh, my goodness sakes. When you think about life insurance, and you should, health insurance, and you should, retirement planning, and I am, employee benefits, everything, don't forget about Cameron and Siemens Insurance. They really care. Every time I've called over there, they've been so helpful, and they really are accessible to making sure they answer your questions. Call for an appointment today at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Nice people. And don't forget, I got to talk about my friend here real quick, old Kevin. Oh, I'll tell you what, old Certified Pest Control. Now, yours truly and my lovely wife, Deanne, we just absolutely were overrun like a lot of people were, a lot of farms, a lot of ranches and everything, with rodents, the mice and the voles, and it was so bad around my arena I could hardly walk out there on my crutches because I'd fall into a hole. Well, we called Certified Pest Control. Here comes Kevin, and there goes the pests. And he can do the same about your weeds. That's right, the puncture vine, the goat heads and everything. Well, you just give him a call. Now's the time for a weed alert, and he can help. Certified Pest Control, 219-7576. And he's just as good as the big boys, but half the price. Or go to his website, avoidbugs.com. You better believe it. Certified Pest Control, they can do the job for you. Really, really good people. We are at 9:30 going to have Rita Ramsey on the air, and we're going to be talking about politics. And I'm going to kind of review what I said in the first hour about what's going on with the Donald Trump campaign, what's going on with the Republicans that are shooting themselves in the foot with both revolvers. And in just about 8 minutes, I've got my wife out in the other room, and she's monitoring what Mitt Romney is going to say at his press conference and speech this morning out of Salt Lake City. So we'll have that momentarily. But right now, I also want to remind you about our friends at Red's Trading Post. Oh, boy, you need a gun. You need a gun now more than ever before, and I'll say this from my own personal opinion. You need to be aware of firearms. You need to know how to use firearms, and you need to be very, very careful about what your selection is. Well, Red's Trading Post, 203 Fifth Avenue South in Twin Falls, has all the new firearms from Browning, Beretta, Weatherby, Ruger, Manelli, Smith & Wesson, Winchester, and also, they've got the hard-to-find powder for all the people that do the reloading. And they've got a knowledgeable staff there that can answer all your questions. Great customer service. Red's Trading Post, 203 Fifth Avenue South in Twin Falls. You get a hold of them today. Where did all these dogs come from? For Pete's sakes, they're all over the place. We got dogs climbing up on the furniture. We got dogs over in the back of that pickup. My goodness sakes, let's call Kennel Ken at Minidoka Animal Control. And here he is, Officer Ken Mort. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
Not too shabby. What do you got cooking today?
Well, today we want to feature Delta. She is a Bulldog Boxer Cross. She is approximately 5 years old. She is white and brindle. Seems as though she's had pups and stuff a few months ago and is never, and is dried up and everything, but is still sagging a little bit. She seems to be pretty house trained and leash trained. She doesn't mess in her kennel, Annette. She will wait until we take her out to do her business and everything. She does have an issue when it comes to other dogs, Annette, she'll play with them and everything, but as soon as another dog starts getting somebody's attention, she wants to attack them because she wants all the attention. So she'd make somebody a good single pet, Annette, home pet. So if anybody's interested, they can get a hold of us. But she was picked up by the Heyburn Police Department in the vicinity of 550 West and 300 South over by Heyburn. And the officer actually went door to door over there trying to find out if anybody knew who she belonged to before they called me to come get her. And nobody seemed to know who she belonged to. Most of them said they had never seen her before. So
oh my.
She became available for adoption on February 27th. So if anybody's interested in her, she's a beautiful looking dog. And it loves to play and have a good time with people. Real friendly. If they're interested, they can get a hold of us at 438-2200. Can reach me on my cell phone at 670-7268, or can reach Deb Hines with Hayburn's Animal Control at 670-4348.
Now, you said her name was Delta Dawn?
Well, we just call her Delta.
Well, let's give her the full name, like Tanya Tucker's song, Delta Dawn.
Well, whenever I go to get her out of the kennel, that's kind of what I sing to her, and at the Delta Dawn song. So.
Oh, my goodness. Now, you have done so much to help owners find dogs and dogs find owners, etc. This sounds like what about that dog we had last week? What happened to that dog?
Actually, he went into a rescue, and they found out that he had some serious issues and stuff and that going on with his ears. As a matter of fact, he went deaf in one ear, and they're afraid he might be losing the hearing in the other. But they are working with him and trying to get that fixed, or just kind of waiting to hear back and see how things go with him.
Okay, well, we wish the best. How are things going at the new kennel?
Actually, they're going pretty well. We are moving right along. I mean, we've got a few dogs in there right now. Several of them are leaving between tomorrow and Sunday, going to their new homes in Oregon and Washington, and everything that some rescues have helped us find homes for them for. So if you're out looking for a dog and you are missing one, make sure you guys are getting a hold of your local animal control facilities and that to see if they found one or found it. Also, if you're looking for a friend or a new family member, Annette, get a hold of your animal shelters as well and stuff like that, because they've always got dogs that you can come in and look at. I mean, we try to do our best of placing dogs with locals, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. So, I mean, just get a hold of us, and if there's something in particular you're looking for, let us know. If we get it in, we can definitely give you a call and let you know that, hey, we've got what you're looking for in. You can come in and check it out. And we also do a foster program where if you're really interested in one, but you're just not sure if it's going to work out, we'll let you take it home for a couple of days and make sure that it's going to fit into the family. And if it does, come back and adopt it. If not, bring them back, and we'll find it another home.
You know what? You just answered my question, because I had a call Tuesday from a lady that her dog had passed away, and she said, well, now if I give them the specifics and tell them what I'm looking for, possibly could they keep me in the loop as far as if that dog comes through the kennel? And you just answered that. You will.
Yes, we will. I mean, we want to make sure and stuff that we get you what you're really wanting, if we can. I mean, sometimes it's stuff like for instance, I had a gentleman tell me that he was interested in a specific kind of dog. Well, we hadn't gotten anything like that in, but I just happened to show him a picture of a little long-haired Chihuahua, and he's like, well, let me foster her and see how it goes. Fell in love with that little thing, and he'd always said he'd never own a Chihuahua, but he wound up owning this one, and this dog is spoiled rotten.
Sounds like my dog Ruby. She owns the house. We just live here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Listen, I really appreciate you coming on the program. It's always kind of heartwarming for me to hear about these success stories with the dogs. Tell everybody again, Ken, how they can get a hold of you.
They can get a hold of us at our facility at 438-2200. You can reach me on my cell phone at 670-7268, or Deb Hines at 670-4348. Also, I want to put out there that our hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 9 to 1, and Saturdays, 9 to noon.
Okay. Officer Ken Moore with Minidoka Animal Control. I mean this. God bless you, my dear friend. You're doing a great job. Thanks for coming on the program.
And thank you, Zeb.
Now, where'd all these dogs come from? My goodness sakes. We've got a lot of dogs, and Ken's on top of the whole situation. Good guy, Ken Mort, and Minidoka Animal Control. Thank you very much. Hey, tonight is the big night at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. It is their great big anniversary sale tonight from 5 until 9 p.m. No money down, no interest, 12 months on approved credit. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. I can't even begin to get the list of all the great buys in this commercial. I mean, they've got a Beauty Rest closeout mattress event, and, of course, they've got all the dining room furniture where you can save up to 50%. Oh, my goodness. You've got to get in there and check it out. We're going to have Jason on the phone with us a little bit later on this morning. The great big Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More anniversary sale tonight, one night only from 5 to 9 p.m. at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More, 459 Overland in Burley. Don't you miss it. Right now we go to the phone line, and one of my very favorite people, Rita Ramsey. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm good. Rita, you and I, we're pretty close on what we think about politics, etc., and what we think needs to be done or not done. I said first hour, and I'm going to stand behind it, that I think this fracturing, this absolute tearing apart of the Republican Party has got to stop. They've got to stop acting like children that have lost their babysitter, and they've got to get back on track. What are your thoughts?
Well, if that was the case, I think that's true. However, I think that the Republican Party has more or less been hijacked by someone who's not a conservative, and that's where the problem lies.
Okay, now when you say that, though, hijacked by a person that's not a conservative, you are talking about Donald Trump.
That's right.
Okay. Now, this is where you and I might have a little difference. You know, the people are speaking. I'm not talking thousands. I'm talking multi-millions of people are speaking against government, against the way Washington does things, and they have jumped on the Trump train. But by trying to disavow him as a potential candidate, what are you going to do when you absolutely sever the umbilical cord, if you will, of those people that want to be voters and want to be involved in politics?
Well, Well, this is what happens when somebody with a big voice comes along and says, "I'll solve all your problems."
Yeah,
we had that in 2007 and 8. Apparently, a lot of people don't remember how that all came to be. We had that, and that's how everybody jumped on the bandwagon with Obama. I will solve everything. We're going to have hope and change. Everything's going to be wonderful. People were angry. They were angry at the government. They were mad. They were mad at the politicians. They were mad at everybody. And so Obama comes along, and they go, okay, we're going to get you in. So you have a lot of Republicans go over to the Democrat side, and they vote in Obama. Well, now you've got a lot of people that are still mad again, and they're angry. And my big question to the people who are angry is, how many decisions have you made when you were angry? Did you sit back and say, man, I'm sure glad I made that decision? You can't make decisions when you're angry. You need to go in and you need to look at the facts and you need to find out who it is. There is a huge following of Trump that are not conservatives. They are not Republicans. So they have basically hijacked the Republican Party, and they're not conservatives. And if conservative is what they want, then they need to go over to the person who's really conservative, and there's 2 or 3 of them in there. But they're not. They're following along with the guy with the biggest voice, and they're just saying, he says he's going to take care of things and he can manhandle the media, and so I'm getting behind him. Well, that might be fine, but does that make a king out of him? Or does that make somebody say, okay, wait a minute, we're going to go, we're going to follow constitutional limits. You know, there's going to be Supreme Court appointments. There's going to have to be executive restraints. Have we heard Trump say any of those things?
Your points are well taken, but I'll go back and I'll also say and pat myself on the back that my points are well taken also, and I have not advocated Trump for the presidency in any way, shape, or form. But I am going to stand firm that the Republican Party, with their fragmentation, was caused primarily, they initiated the papers. They initiated the sign this or else type atmosphere to Donald Trump. He did. And now they never thought he was going to become a front runner. And now that he is a front runner, they are doing everything they can, like squirrels trying to gather acorns for the winter. They're trying to do everything they can to disavow him and his candidacy. This is the fracturing that I'm concerned about.
Well, there's no doubt that there's that fracture, but what I'm saying is there is an answer, and it's called the Constitution. And we need to get behind the person or persons who are constitutional. And Trump is not one of those, and I'm sorry to disagree with you on what Trump stands for and everything else. But, you know, we started hollering and screaming and protesting like crazy between 2009 and 2010 about Obama going around the Constitution and doing all this executive this and handing us Obamacare and saying, we're going to be in charge of your health care, and we're going to do this, and we're going to make you, you know, and it's been one thing after the other, and every one of them have gone around the Constitution, and every one of them is like, well, if it can't be done with the Congress, then I'll just do it myself. We got so mad and we were so concerned about that it's like we want somebody else. So we all joined together and we started learning about the Constitution and screaming, you're not going by the Constitution. And we started praying for somebody that would come along that would go by the Constitution and that would fight for us and help us to hold America together. And we have somebody, and nobody's paying attention to him. So it's kind of like, you know what? These people who are mad and who are following Trump, and it's like Trump is the only one who's going to be able to do this, they're not seeing the whole picture, and they're not actually looking at who they really wanted when they were upset about Obama.
And I think one point that, again, I'll jump in, Rita, I'm not advocating Trump, and I have not endorsed him as, quote-unquote, my candidate. You've never heard me say that. But I'm trying to play the devil's advocate here on a problem that has got so big within the Republican Party that all I see with this fracturing and this arguing is an open door for Hillary to step in and say, hi, I'm your new president.
Well, I understand that, and I'm not saying that you are, but you know what? I heard a ton of people calling in, jumping down one lady's throat for saying, hey, Cruz is constitutional. How come you're not standing up for him? And so this deal about Donald Trump, this is fine. We don't know that the party has been fractured, but if people would really get behind who they have said they've wanted the last several years, there wouldn't be any problems with it because they would elect the constitutional conservative.
Now, let me inject something else into our good debate this morning. I appreciate this. The debate tonight. I think the debate tonight is totally a waste of time and possibly a wasted effort for this reason. I think it's going to be 3-on-1, and it's not going to be about policy. It's not going to be about how their policies are better than the liberal loons that are supporting Hillary. I think it's going to be a let's jump on one dog and let's see if we can't throw him out of the fray. That is not what the American public wants, but I'm afraid it's going to be that way.
Well, it may be that it turns out to be that way. I think after the last one, though, there was probably a lot of soul-searching saying, hey, if we're going to have something coming at us, we need to look presidential and operate in a different direction. And I totally think it is a waste of time if they're just up there screaming and yelling at each other. However, it is reduced down to 4 people now, and maybe they'll be a little bit more civil. I don't know. I think that there's a way to get the person that we want, that will do what we need to do to take care of this country. But I am still, I thought Donald Trump brought up a ton of good things that we needed to be talking about, which was the border. However, everybody who thinks, yeah, he's going to build a fence, if you start looking at Trump's policy, Trump says a touchback. I'm going to send them all home, and then they can come back and be citizens. So he's actually going to give them all amnesty, the ones who are here. I guess the bad ones are going to go, but, it's big talk, and hopefully things like that will happen. We have needed these discussions in this realm of electing a president. But Trump is not the one who is going to just shut off the border and everything else. And a lot of the things that he is saying is, hey, I'll do whatever I want to do. He made that statement earlier this week talking about Paul Ryan. He said, well, I don't know him well, but I'm going to I'm sure I can get along with him, and if he doesn't, he's going to have to pay a big price. It's kind of like, I'll just strong-arm you. That's the way I can do it because I'm the boss. That's not the way that we do things in a civil society.
I will say this, and I want to get your response on this. I'm very interested in your response. Every debate, be it the Democratic debates, if you want to call them that, with Sanders and Clinton, and it was a joke, and then also the Republican debates, I honestly maintain that there is not a professionalism, there is not a journalistic viewpoint from the moderators. They have let these debates, get completely out of control. I don't care if it's Wolf Blitzer with CNN, I don't care if it's Fox News, I don't care which news source. They let it get out of control, and they didn't have a hammer in their hand to make sure that they were in control. Would you agree with that or not?
You're absolutely right. It wasn't a debate. It just ended up being a big brawl, whether it was a verbal brawl or else. But it's just been a circus. And it isn't what you want when you're trying to decide who you want to be the leader of the free nation, or, of this free nation that we live in and of the free world. It's just really sad that the media can go in and turn things the way that they want them and make it out to be this is all about me instead of what we're really here for. I've heard a lot of different people say, what they really should have done is scheduled it at a university and got some real, for the conservative side, got some real conservatives to ask some questions.
Right.
Instead, it was all about whoever was hosting it, and this is my show, and I can ask the gotcha questions, and they were just trying to see if they could take down somebody.
Absolutely. Now, I want to ask you, and Deanna's monitoring this in the other room, as a matter of fact, of what Mitt Romney's speech is in regards to this morning. It started about 9 minutes ago. I don't know, Rita. I just think that I've always had a lot of respect for Mitt Romney. I've had a lot of respect for the family, and I know members of his family. And I think some of the things that he's got involved in and some of the things he has said sounded almost like sour grapes. Do you disagree with me on this?
Actually, I think that it does a little bit, but you have to understand that once you run for president, they think that they own you, and it's like, hey, you have to help get somebody else elected the next time. And so it does kind of look like that he's kind of in the background saying, hey, even though I lost, I've got a lot of credibility out here. And he actually does, because I was listening to a program earlier this morning on my way to work. It was prior to 7 o'clock, and they were saying that, when Romney was running at this time, he was running at close to 50% of the electorate.
That's right.
Was behind him.
Yep.
Well, Trump isn't even, close to the 50%. So you don't have a lot of people. And I think that some of the Republicans are really doing a lot that's, starting to scream, hey, we're getting desperate here. And they're probably thinking, well, Mitt Romney has some credibility and, he's a good man. I would be interested to know what his total message is, because I doubt seriously that he's going to go in there and say, Trump's an idiot and you shouldn't vote for him and that kind of stuff. I imagine that whatever he says will be something like, hey, we've got to make sure that who you vote for is the one that you want to run the country, and, whatever you vote for is what you get. And that's where I really worry about having buyer's remorse if we end up electing Trump, who I think would totally be better than Hillary, but he is still not my first choice. I want a constitutionalist.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. Actually, I don't think we're off on different tangents. We agree with the basics on this. But I will say this, and I said it first hour, and this is kind of reverting back to the past that can't be changed. Mitt Romney has no one to blame but himself for losing the election because he was just too much of a Mr. Nice Guy.
Well, that's absolutely true, and you have to realize that 4 years ago was totally different than the circus we're seeing right now.
I agree.
I think Mitt Romney was totally blown away that a moderator in a debate would tell him, you're wrong and I'm right.
Yeah.
He was just totally shocked, and it was kind of like, oh my gosh, and it's like, well, I'm not going to turn around and tell her she's a liar because I need to pull out the chapter and verse of why she's not right, and it did deflate it quite a bit. And the same thing happened when Obama said, oh yeah, Romney says that Putin's the place that we ought to be looking and worrying about. Well, he's just in the 1980s, There's a lot of that kind of stuff that kind of takes him on, by storm, and I don't know that Romney's out there saying, hey, if this would have happened with me, I would have done better. I think he's saying, hey, this is what we need to do to try to save our country, and the Republicans have asked him to, if he's at the University of Utah, he's obviously giving a speech. So why they're all honing in on a speech that Mitt Romney's giving is kind of beyond me, but I don't know.
All right, I want to do a weather forecast, and I want to come back with a subject that you and I both, I know emphatically, are on the same page. So stand by for that in just a moment. Don't forget the weather is brought to you this hour by Rogge Auctions and their big spring community sale. It's going to be on April 9th, and next Monday I'm going to be telling everybody where it's going to be, but they're taking consignments now for that spring community sale of farm, livestock, weapons, ammunition, ATVs, side-by-sides. They are not accepting household items for this really good, high-quality sale. Don't forget it's going to be April 9th. Call Ron Rogge at 431-6187 or Cade Rogge at 431-0074. The big community sale coming up this spring, managed by Rogge Auctions. And right now, here's the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch as we do get one day closer to the weekend. Looks like afternoon rain showers are in our forecast. It'll be partly cloudy for most of the day, but as we move into the afternoon, rain showers are possible. Winds out of the west right around 13 miles an hour. Expect a high of 58. Tonight, low of 37. Tomorrow, getting warmer. Partly cloudy, high of 62 with an overnight low of 41. Saturday, cloudy and 63. And then for Sunday, it's all going to change. Temperatures are going to drop to about 47. It's going to be windy and rainy as well. Overnight low of 33 and then cloudy and 50 for Monday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you very much, Gina. Appreciate it. Brought to everybody by Rogge Auctions. Getting ready for the big spring community sale on April 9th. You be sure and call for your consignments right now, and you can contact them also on the website, RoggeAuction.com. Rita, I have kind of hung myself on the clothesline for about the last year, and I don't mind because I'm standing up for what I believe is right, and I know I've heard your comments in the same subject. I am absolutely adamant that I think the Twin Falls Times-News, the College of Southern Idaho, and now the City of Twin Falls and other groups are absolutely wrong in their approach to what they're trying to do to make Magic Valley and Twin Falls in particular a haven for refugees. I'm against it, and anybody that thinks that our opposition is on the wane, they are wrong.
Well, they're absolutely wrong, and the problem is that this comes from a higher place than Twin Falls, and so Twin Falls gets introduced to it, and they get used to the money that's coming in. But this all started with Governor Otter and the people up in Boise, and they have 3 or 4 times as many migrants as Twin Falls has. And nobody thinks that it's going to be an issue. You can send a letter to the governor or to any of your representatives, and they'll come back saying, well, you know, we need to help these folks, and da-da-da-da-da. So basically what it's all about is it's all about money coming into our state from the federal government. The problem is these people are chosen by the UN. The federal government are not the ones who are screening them or anything else. The individuals are supposed to be screened as they come into these communities, and that can't be done because they don't have records, they don't have any kind of background histories, so they can't be screened, so we don't know who we're getting, and it is just a problem of having a bunch of people here that we don't know who they are, and some of them may be here on legitimate reasons, but the majority of them, we just don't know who they are or if they mean harm to us.
Well, let me read a quotation, and this one is from a very bona fide individual that knows what's going on. He is the former New York City Police Commissioner, and that's Bernie Carrick. And here's what he said surrounding the vetting high-risk immigrants. Quote, "We're bringing refugees in that can't be vetted. We don't have a relationship with Syria. We don't have a relationship with their embassy. We don't have a relationship with the Iraqi government as it stands today. So how are you going to vet that many people?" Rita?
Well, that's exactly right. We can't let them come in here and just come in here and be here for the sake of it. What ends up happening is, even though maybe they were, and this has happened in Tennessee, it's happened over in Michigan, and it's happened in Minnesota. These people have come in. They end up in a community of people who speak the same language because they don't speak English and they don't know the culture. And because they're most of them all of the same faith, they are not Christians, and that's who a lot of people would like us to think. These are the poor Christians who are being abused and killed and hurt. These are Muslims who are coming in here. And what they do is they gather together and make their own community. They practice their own laws because they do not go by the Constitution. They cannot go by man's law, and man's law is the Constitution. So they have to go by Sharia. They don't let people into their communities as far as law enforcement or anything else. And then they start working in places where they kind of have to work together, and most of them are no skills because they don't speak the language. They can't do anything except just some, basically labor that doesn't take having to communicate. And then when they're done with work, they start hanging out together, and they start these little jihad camps out in the outskirts. And this is what's going to happen here. And it's just because you've got a bunch of people hanging around together with nothing to do except cause mischief. And most of it will be with some of the younger ones who come. But that's what will happen. That's what's happened back in the other places that I mentioned. And it's not for our safety. And we are going to have some issues with it, and they're going to be bad. And hopefully nobody will be harmed or killed. But that's not the way that it's worked out in other places.
Rita, I've only got about 90 seconds left, but I am sick and tired, and I mean this, of being force-fed cultural diversity at the risk of my culture being diminished.
Well, that's absolutely true, and we need to scream and holler to our local representatives and to our state representatives. They actually have more say in it than the feds do, but it's going to be an effort that has to go from right here all the way up the top, and it is going to have something to do with who becomes president and what they'll decide that they'll do. And if they go by the Constitution, we won't have this issue because they can't do it without Congress doing it, and if Congress allows it, it's because enough people weren't screaming and hollering. And so it's something that everybody's got to get involved with. And I just encourage people to get involved, start doing your homework. Don't just get on a bandwagon and think everything's going to work out because this or that or the other. You've got to do your homework and find out the issues.
I always look forward to Thursdays because I know you're going to give me some straight talk, and I really appreciate it. Real quick, I've got about 10 seconds. Anything going on with the Tea Party?
We have a meeting a week from tonight at 7 o'clock at the City of Burley City Council Chambers. That's just on 14th and Overland, and would like to see people come there. We'll be talking about the elections that have taken place in our area, which on Tuesday is our voting day. So thank you.
Oh, Rita, God bless. Have a great week. Enjoyed the conversation. Thank you much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Nice lady right there, Rita Ramsey, and I always appreciate her coming on the program and her remarks. Thank you very much. Let's see, what else have I got? I got my favorite part on Thursdays. Yeah, it's my favorite part. If you're hungry and starving to death, I know some great places to go. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about this morning is Taco Bandito at 2301 Overland in Burley. But you know what? They are closed right now for remodeling. This is the first time they've been closed for remodeling since way back 40 years ago. And they're going to be open for business on March 14th, and they're upgrading all their business for all their customers. It's going to be fantabulous. And their menu, of course, everything is going to be, as it always is, delicious. Don't forget, they're going to be closed till about March 14th for this remodeling. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Hey, how about Steve-O's? 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you love it. They've got buffalo burgers. Oh, my goodness sakes. And they've got to bring your special person to dinner on Friday or Saturday night, and they'll have a special dessert for you to share. I love it. And, of course, don't forget Steve-O's nacho fries topped with cheese and jalapeno peppers. Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Let's try Burgers Etc. 2 locations to serve you at 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Do you know that they've got hamburgers that are only 99 cents and cheeseburgers only $1.29 after 3 p.m.? Yup, that's true. And all the delicious burgers and the taco salads and the onion rings and the tater tots and it's delicious. Always is at Burgers Etc. 2 locations, Rupert and Burley. And hey, let's not forget the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. And in honor of St. Patrick's Day coming up, they've got the chocolate mint milkshakes. And how about that with a chicken fried steak sandwich and an order of fries and that special sauce? Oh, doesn't that sound good? Along with maybe a famous Farmer Brown burger or whatever. Oh my goodness, you're going to love the food. Always have, always will at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. I'm drooling. And last but not least, El Caporal, 610 North Overland in Burley. Now, I'm telling you what, lunch, dinner, drinks, parties, anything to celebrate your own special occasion, you get over to El Caporal. Oh, my goodness sakes, I'm telling you, you're really going to enjoy your meal. Amazing Mexican food and ladies' night every Wednesday. It is fantabulous at El Caporal, 610 North Overland in Burley. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. I am. We're going to take a little break, and we're going to listen to the big boys from CBS, and I'm going to gather up some notes for the remainder of the program. Coming up next hour, we've got Cassia County School Days, along with our business salute, and then at 10:30 this morning, Dr. John Zamirik going to be talking about, what is John going to be talking about this morning? I think he's going to be talking about immigration and Donald Trump. So all of this coming up on Zeb at the Ranch. Stay tuned. Good morning, good morning, good morning on this March the 3rd. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, including Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service today, 734-6969. Oh, my goodness, I also want to remind you about our dear friend Doug at Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair at 635 21st Street, Al Fresco Road in Heyburn. And he bought the business back in 2009. It used to be called Ted's Diesel Electric Service. Well, now it's Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair. Same great service, just a different name. And Doug can rebuild starters, alternators, generators, and also sells brand new. Call him, 878-4991, Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair. You know, this will be my last time for this weekend, quite frankly, for this year, to acknowledge the fact that the Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale is coming up this Saturday. It is going to be, always has been for 21 years, this is the 21st annual problem-free cattle bull sale at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard in Burley, coming up this Saturday at 1 o'clock. 85 bulls to sell and free delivery up to 300 miles. These are excellent bulls, raised in the rocks. They know how to take care of themselves, and I'll tell you what, some of the best anywhere in the United States, right here at this sale on Saturday. Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale, Cordell and Patty Sheridan, and again, it's this Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Don't you miss it. Going to be a dandy. We are going to be ready to go in just a few minutes with Cassia County School Days, and there's another public service announcement I wanted to make real quick. The Mount Harrison Heritage Foundation with Dusty Fisher and the Burley High School Music Tech class presents Into the Woods, and I believe they're going to have a 2 p.m. Afternoon performance on this Saturday, March 5th. And boy, that Burley High School music and the choir and everything, they do a fantastic job. Should be a lot of fun for music lovers all over the Magic Valley. Want to remind you that right now we're going to have Cassia County School Days. And in Cassia County School Days, our sponsors are the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. And for outpatient surgeries like life-saving colonoscopies, nasal and ear surgery, foot and knee surgery, oh my goodness, they can help you and probably save you hundreds of dollars and get outstanding care. Ambulatory Surgery Center, 677-8888. Along with the Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. My goodness, spring is coming. Wonderful spring clothing has arrived. And believe me, also all your birthday present ideas are right there. Great games and puzzles, and they've got all the Cherokee scrubs and the shoes and all the other items. Hey, stop in today at Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, along with the Ambulatory Surgery Center, bringing you Cassia County School Days. With us on the phone line right now, a lady that's been on our program in the past, and she is the Federal Programs Coordinator and Principal of the preschool, I believe over in Oakley, correct me if I'm wrong, Kim Bedke. How are you?
Zeb, good morning. How are you?
I am fantastic. Did I get all that information right?
You were so dang close.
Oh.
You were just close. However, the Cassia Preschool is located in Burley.
Oh, well, I stand corrected, and thank you. I do appreciate that. What is this preschool for special needs children? Explain that a little bit.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about one of my passions and the reasons I love to come to work every day. We have here in Cassia School District, we have the opportunity to seek out and serve 3 to 5-year-old children in our communities that have some developmental delays. And, and some of those delays are a little more extreme than others. We believe in early intervention, getting these kiddos, into our care with my great teachers and staff, and just providing the skills necessary to be successful once they go to kindergarten.
Mm-hmm. Now,
great place to be, Zeb.
I'll tell you something. I'm really proud, and I mean that, of the innovative ideas that are going on in Cassia County schools after I visit with Debbie Critchfield and others. But you put together a community discussion and presentation on bullying. Now, let me set up what I think about bullying and ask some questions first, and then let you address it. Why today, Kim, is it more prominent that we're hearing more about bullying than perhaps we did back in my day in school 40, 50 years ago?
Zeb, and that's a great question, and I appreciate you asking that. My view on this, and I think the view of many people that study bullying and that make it their job, their life's work, to work with schools and communities on bullying, is that one of the reasons is with the onset and the use of social media, our kids, when we were in school, and bullying's been going on, for the ages. But there really was a point that once kids left school, they did have a reprieve. They could leave the behaviors, whether it was bullying, or teasing or taunting, they could leave it once they left the school grounds. Now with, the way we're interconnected 24/7 with internet, that escape is sometimes impossible for our young children.
Okay, now, Kim, I don't mean to sound hard-nosed on this. It's just the way I was raised back in another time, another generation, so bear with me. But I can remember vividly coming home in the third grade and kind of whining and pining about the school bully picking on me. And I can vividly remember my dad grabbing me by the shoulders and telling me to man up, and if I didn't, I'd get a whooping when I came home the next time whining about it. So I addressed the bully issue in my own terms, took care of it, and I didn't have that problem anymore.
Right. And that's definitely, again, and I think that we can all attest to those experiences when we were younger. The truth and the fact of the matter is it is a different world to a point, and one of those reasons that I had stated is that we did have a reprieve. When we left school, it did end. And yes, many of us, like you, when we got home, we were told to take care of it. And it was a different world back then, in all actuality. We can point to legal issues. We can point to the fact that, litigation is very popular these days. And as a school district, we most definitely have that in the back of our mind, but most importantly is the mental and physical health of our kids. And the reason that at Cassia School District that we do take bullying so seriously is that we look closely and we take the data and the research seriously.
Okay, so what?
If you don't mind, could I share some?
Yeah, I was just going to say. So what is
right out of Idaho with you?
Yeah, what is the data and the research, and what are the studies telling us as to how to make a friendly, everybody hold hands, sing kumbaya society? That's never going to happen, Kim.
Exactly, I agree with you so much, Zeb. And so what the research is telling us, and I'm going to go back to a topic that you and I have discussed previously this year, a topic that unfortunately is very near and dear to both of our hearts, and that's on suicide.
Yes.
And so when we look critically at suicide in Idaho, number one, Idaho, the second leading cause of death in Idaho for our school-age children between 10 and 14 is suicide. Second to accident. Mm-hmm. And when we look this year, we have had 8 suicides in our schools since September 15th, that actually the State Department has came in and helped assisted the schools work through these. And then I'm going to take that suicide and I'm going to connect that to bullying.
Okay.
We have the opportunity through our State Department of Ed. They do a youth risky behavior survey that they go in and an anonymous survey that they're asking our kids. Our kids in Cassius School District take this survey, Boise, Coeur d'Alene, throughout the state of Idaho. So it's our kids. And it's what they're finding with bullying and suicide, the correlation is that, and I'm just going through my papers here, so excuse me, is that they're finding the correlation that the percentage of students that were bullied on school property, 25% of those have ideation, which is in their head, in their mind, that they think about suicide on a daily basis. And so we look at it as more of a proactive. How do we create in our schools, not the kumbaya, not the holding hands, but rather how do we empower our kids and our teachers? But really it's about how to empower kids about standing up for when someone is being put down, when someone is being pushed out to the fringe. Because we know when our kids and adults, when we feel that we're on the fringe, when we are not valuable to our peer groups, to our families, that is when suicide ideation and also completed suicides take place. So our thought is not to create this utopia, because you're right, that will never happen, but more importantly, to empower our kids with doing what's right, standing up against wrong, and empowering so that people do feel included.
You know, it's great what you're saying, but I know you haven't overlooked it because probably you're going to talk about it in the next minute, and I'm running out of time here. We're going to have to do more on this. But there's another group, another segment of people that have not been mentioned yet, and that's the parents. You know, in most cases, in my personal opinion, the parents are either naive or overlook the attitude and actions of their children that are bullies.
Thank you so much for bringing that up, and that is probably one of the most important, at least equally important pieces of this puzzle. Zeb, and what we have done is we have put together the Cassius School District Parent and Community Team. We have representation from each school, and we also have representation that from people that don't even have kids in Cassius School District anymore. We have some realtors, we have members of our clergy, teams and churches around our area, and they actually came together, and their focus for the year, and I went with their focus, was mathematics and student mental health, which included bullying and internet safety. And it's this group of parents that came together, asked us to talk about this publicly, and then our hope is, and our request is, that when we talk about this we call it PACT, as a parent to community team, that they take these issues back into their individual communities, back into Oakley, Declo, Burley, Malta, and at the grassroots level, they talk about these serious issues and discuss as a community, how can we come together and make a change in this? And for our parents, this is an area they want to concentrate on.
Let me ask you.
I would like to invite parents. We have a wonderful event going on next Tuesday, March 8th. It will be at 12 o'clock at the Cassius School District Central Office. We serve lunch. We serve a wonderful lunch hosted by the Burley High School Foods class. And we have Matt McCarter from the State Department of Ed coming to talk to our parents about the things that you and I have just discussed.
Great. I'll tell you what. Now, I'm going to ask you this favor, Kim, and I think it's very important. We can't do justice, nor should we, to this subject in 12 minutes. I'm going to ask you to call me after I'm off the air someday and try to make an arrangement for a segment on the air in my studio that we can devote more time to this subject, because I think it's way too important to just try to shuffle through in a short period of time.
I would be honored.
You know, let me ask you one quick question. I've got about 2 minutes left in this segment, but what about the bully themselves? What about the transition in their personalities once they are found out as to who and what they are doing? What about their transition, trying to get them back to a normalcy? Is it a fairly good percentage that you can do this?
You know, Zeb, with the current model and the current methods that we've used in the past, what we considered common sense it really isn't a good. There isn't a good, rate of helping these kids. We know that. While, believe me, I'm with you. I'm not against some type of circumstances, some type of consequence. That's important. But we know that we have to go beyond that. And our mission in school is to educate children and teach them through the difficult parts of their life. So beyond the punishment, if you say, we also have to help these children learn through the difficulties and learn through their behaviors.
I think you would agree with me as a wrap-up, Kim, that a lot of times bullies are the most lonesome people in the world, and they're like an old western town with false front buildings. And once you tear down that false front facade, they can be worked with, and they can see the error in their ways.
Absolutely, and we care about all kids in Cassia School District, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I really enjoyed our conversation, but I'm going to hold you to calling me, and we'll try to arrange for a larger segment on this. Kim Bedke, Federal Programs Coordinator and Principal of the Preschool in Burley, and I really appreciate your comments this morning, Kim. God bless, and please come back on the program soon.
Thank you, Zeb, very much. Have a great day.
And you too. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
That lady's a very, very nice and very knowledgeable lady. And, kids are not robots. You can't just kind of tweak it here and tweak the personality there. Oh, they're going to be fine. Now they can go out and play. Everything's going to be rosy. No, that's not the way it works. Bullying is a problem, and I'll look forward to having Kim on our program so we can have a longer segment. Very, very nice lady. In just a moment, we're going to have Jason from Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More talking about a great big anniversary sale that's going on at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. As a matter of fact, tonight, so you don't want to miss that. Hey, by the way, too, coming up next hour, we're going to have Dr. John Zamurik on with The Stream. He writes for thestream.org, and he's going to be talking about Donald Trump, and we're going to tie a lot of what happened just now in the last hour with Mitt Romney's speech at the University of Utah into his comments about Trump's position on immigration. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and I believe we have with us a young man that I have a lot of respect for, and that's Jason over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Huge, I mean really big anniversary sale tonight starting at 5 p.m. going to 9 p.m. at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Jason, good morning. How are you?
Good, Zeb. Thanks for having me on the show.
My goodness, don't make yourself such a stranger. I haven't talked to you in a coon's age.
It has been a while. How you doing?
Well, if I was any better, the wrong fat man would be wearing my clothes. I'll tell you, we're doing great. What about this great big one-night-only anniversary sale? Tell us more about it.
So, Zeb, we've got the doors locked right now. We're slashing prices across the whole store, trying to make this thing a huge event that the prices are just going to blow people away. We've got our dining tables. They're going to be up to 50% off. Bedroom groups up to 40% off. We have a huge overstock of recliners. We're blowing those out, 50% off on a lot of those. Mattress sets. I've got a $1,500 mattress set, Zeb. We're going to run at $599. That's for the mattress and box spring. This is a really nice pocketed coil foam encased mattress set. Cannot beat the price for the fill. Outstanding buy.
I don't know.
We also have our window coverings on sale. Up to 40% off, anywhere from 30 to 40% off, depending on what you're looking at. Get ready for some of those spring upgrades to your house. A great way to spruce up a home. And, of course, we've got our living room group package, $9.99. That includes a sofa, a love seat, a sofa table, end tables, three table group, a rug. It fills your whole room full of furniture for under $1,000, Zeb. You cannot beat these buys.
So you mean what they could do this afternoon right after lunch is they could go into their living room that they have currently and they could say, ugh, ooh, let's get rid of it. And they could just start pitching and throwing things out the front door, and tonight they could replace everything and really save money.
That's right. With these specials, you can't go wrong. We have door busters. We've got some green plants, $5. Just recliners, $2.99. One of our other big expanded showrooms is our sleep center, Zeb, and so our mattresses are drastically reduced. Our bedroom groups are really marked down, too. We have a 4-piece bedroom group. That's a dresser, mirror, headboard, nightstand at only $6.99. So, need to fill that whole bedroom up at these great prices where we're doing these group package pricing. Just outstanding buys.
And you carry all the top name brands, too, don't you?
We sure do. We've got Flex Steel, they're unique seat spring, extremely durable, lifetime warranty. We've got Beauty Rest, we've got Von Bassett, a lot of these American-made companies, Southern Motion, Mohawk Flooring, all of our flooring's marked down. And then, of course, we carry the Ashley line, Lane Furniture, England. We carry a wide selection for just about every customer.
Now, what about special financing if folks are worried about, well, gee, we don't have all the money right now. What can you tell them about financing?
Right now, we have a special programming, 12 months, no interest. So you can come in, take advantage of these specials, and that way you can make small payments and pay it off, pay absolutely zero interest, and yet take advantage of these great sell options.
You've got something else over there I want you to elaborate on a little bit. Lift recliners, and a lot of people need that assistance, don't they?
The way they do these power lift recliners now, we've got a huge selection. For any of those people who just need a little bit of a lift to get out of the chair, maybe you feel like your chair is sagging too low, hard to get out of, these are a great option. They're just starting at $5.99, Zeb. We've got those also marked down. We've got so many different fabrics, to the leather looks, to all these different options you can do just to find that perfect chair for you. And sizes, we've got big ones and small ones. Just to fit every type of customer.
It really is true, though. When I bought my recliners, both of them from you, you really have to get into the store and try on a recliner because everybody fits the chairs differently, don't they?
They absolutely do. One new feature that we've just stocked up on is this, it's called an adjustable headrest that we've got on many of our recliners, even some of our sofa love sets, where you can adjust your headrest to just the right motion. A lot of people, if they want to recline back but maybe prop up, read a book, watch TV, they end up putting a pillow or some stuff behind their head. This, at the touch of a button, you can manually adjust that headrest to the perfect spot.
Oh, my.
And it's super easy. People love it. If you want to zonk out, take a nap, you lay it back. Just a great option. So that's a new feature that we've got many options on the floor.
I'll tell you what, it is tonight, and they've taken a can of 3-in-1 oil, oiled the doors so they open really easy and let everybody in. It starts at 5 p.m. Have you got your track shoes on so you can run all over the store?
Yep.
Okay.
Come on in. We'll get you taken care of once again, 5 to 9 tonight. Don't miss out on these specials.
Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. Jason, God bless you, man. Good to hear from you. The great big anniversary sale tonight, 5 to 9. Don't miss it at Lee's Furniture. Thank you for being on the program.
Thanks, Ed.
God bless. Thank you much. Really nice people, and boy, have they got some great items on sale at their anniversary sale tonight at Lee's Furniture. We're going to take a little break, send it back over to Wheels, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Don't go away.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and welcome back to our last half hour of Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday. And I'm very honored to have John Zemurek back on our program again this morning. John, good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I can barely hear you, though. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're coming through loud and clear. However, I'll tell my engineer if he could turn me up a little bit in your ear set. Is that coming better?
Not yet.
Well,
Let me make sure I hear your question.
we will do the best we can. For some reason, maybe a bad connection. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
All right, Wheels, thank you. Try to maintain that level if you would, please. John, I'm so glad you're on the program this morning, and I've got just absolutely hundreds of questions to ask you in regards to what's going on with this Republican campaign. But let me start it off by saying that you write for The Stream, you follow politics, you know what's going on with Donald Trump and some of the other possible nominees. But I would say right now, as of this morning, the state of the Republican Party is in absolute, utter chaos. Would you agree with me?
Yes, but I think it's a chaos that's been there for a long time, and they've finally just removed the veneer. I think this is like a rotten tooth that's been okay on the outside, but rotting to the core, and the nerve is dead in this tooth.
When you say that, like a tooth that's rotting from the inside and everything, what was the original cause? I mean, what are the factors that brought it to this complete disarray?
I think I would say it began in 2000 with the nomination of George W. Bush and with the hijacking of the party by big money neoconservatives who took for granted the working class, blue collar, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, the Trump people, the people who are rallying behind Trump, the hardworking, ordinary Americans who might not have college degrees, or if they do, they're in business or administration or something. People who don't sit around reading foreign policy briefing papers, who don't buy stock in munitions companies, who don't look around the world and see it as a risk game where they can send American soldiers and conquer a new territory. I supported Pat Buchanan in 92, 96, and 2000 because I saw this element taking over the Republican Party, and I thought it would lead us to disaster. Well, in the Iraq War, in the War on Terror, in the elitist policies towards immigration, in all these different ways, the Republican Party establishment has been acting with total disregard for the voting base of ordinary Americans who gave them majorities or close to majorities in various elections. I mean, look at the people they nominated. Bob Dole, John McCain, Mitt Romney. George W. Bush was elected once and barely elected a second time against very weak Democratic opposition. I think Donald Trump is an expression of all the forces that within the Republican Party that have been repressed, demonized, silenced, and punished since the 90s. I wish you were a better candidate. I wish you were Pat Buchanan.
Okay, all that being said, and you know about wishes, I mean, you might as well hold hot water in your hands and expect it not to burn you. But the thing is, John, he is in the lead. The thing is, John, he's got the percentage points. The thing is, John, that he's got a major movement of millions of Americans behind him. And my question to you, as I addressed it in the first hour on my talk show, is this. Is the Republican Party going to shoot themselves in the foot and not support Trump if he's the nominee and possibly turn away all those millions of new voters that are getting excited about possibly changing the face of America?
I don't know. I think what's really telling about the Republican Party is that Ted Cruz is a strong, solid conservative with none of the character flaws that people like Mitt Romney say trouble them so much about Donald Trump. And yet the Republican Party has been doing everything to stop Ted Cruz. I think actually the Republican establishment prefers Donald Trump to Ted Cruz. You had Bob Dole say that just a couple of months ago. To me, Ted Cruz is the face of the real conservatism in America. Donald Trump, I think, is an opportunist, and I don't trust what he'll do in office. I think it's very telling that he had a secret meeting with the editors of the New York Times and told them off the record what he really intends to do on immigration, and he refuses now to release the transcript. He refuses to tell us what he said secretly to the New York Times editors about immigration and how he would compromise on it. He refuses to release his tax returns. I think there's just too much about Trump as a person that I do not trust his rhetoric. If I thought Donald Trump was really going to do the things he says he's going to do, I would be campaigning for him the way I did for Pat Buchanan. I am afraid that Donald Trump is just another rhino, another liberal Republican who is playing the people, just the way George W. Bush did. A lot of the people who are backing Donald Trump now are all excited about it. They were just as excited about George W. Bush in 1999. They need to think back. We were fooled once. Are we being fooled again?
Well, we've actually been fooled twice, if you want to bring Barack Obama into the fray also. We were very, very misguided in our thinking about him.
Well, I wasn't. I mean, you and I weren't, I think, fooled by Barack Obama. I'm talking about good Republicans. I'm talking about solid conservatives. I'm talking about pro-life voters who trusted George W. Bush, who betrayed their trust and sent them into a totally unnecessary war where thousands of Americans died and $1 trillion, that's with a T, got spent that we borrowed from China to accomplish absolutely nothing. In fact, make things maybe worse. We now have ISIS. We now have civil war all across the Middle East. I think that the neoconservative foreign policy of meddling in the Middle East, overthrowing their dictators, trying to start up democracies, combine that with absolutely reckless policies on immigration designed to flood the market with cheap labor so that Republican big business investors can make a little bit of a stock gain, can maybe join another country club. These things have guaranteed the implosion of the Republican Party. And Donald Trump is the instrument by which it's happening, but I think it was always inevitable. I just wish Donald Trump had some of the character virtues that Pat Buchanan did.
Yeah.
I would be supporting him.
You know, John, you and I think, are on the same page, but we're going about getting to the middle of the paper in different fashions. Number one, it wasn't the Republicans that really have caused the current problem that we are in today with a lack of respect and fear from other nations. That wasn't the Republicans that caused, I think, the rise of ISIS. It was a Democratic leadership, if you want to call it that, by Barack Obama that basically closed their eyes and put hands in their ears so they couldn't hear the problems. And now if the American public is dumb enough, and I'll use that word, to look at Hillary for leadership, we're really in trouble on the Democratic side.
Oh, I agree. Hillary Clinton is a catastrophe, and Barack Obama was a catastrophe. But the reason that we're mired in that region is because George Bush decided he was going to democratize Iraq. If he wanted to knock out Hussein and put in a different Arab dictator, that would have taken 6 months, cost maybe $200 million, and we wouldn't even be talking about Iraq right now. Thank you. But instead, we got this daydream policy that we can remake other countries in America's image and just create little clones of America.
Yeah.
So I think Marco Rubio and John Kasich and Jeb Bush, all the Republicans except Ted Cruz and Donald Trump and Rand Paul, all the other Republicans wanted to double down and keep trying to remake other countries in America's image. Now, Marco Rubio is still talking about confronting Vladimir Putin and risking war over Syria in order to help the Islamic rebels take over Syria, where they're likely to ethnically cleanse 1 million Christians. So I don't think the Republican Party has learned a damn thing. And Donald Trump is what they deserve. I just don't think he's what America deserves.
Well, let me ask you this, and again, I think we're on the same page here. But as far as I'm concerned, and I've said this on my program many times, that we, the United States, we are crumbling from within. We have absolutely insane policies on people that are coming in as immigrants. We have a refugee program that I think right now is going to hurt us and harm us much more in the future. We're allowing our porous borders to let anybody and everybody come across into this country, and we, the taxpayers, are footing the bill, and we're crumbling from within because we do not have an immigration policy with any teeth to it. Who is going to put forth the effort?
To me, Ted Cruz is the only candidate who has seriously talked about addressing immigration and who I think will actually do it, who I think means what he says. Ted Cruz has stood up. He's made enemies throughout the Senate. He's made enemies throughout the Republican Party. He's never backed down from his positions. Donald Trump slips like a flag in the wind. He's saying one thing to the public, another thing in secret to the editors of the New York Times. I just don't trust Donald Trump. I think he is using the immigration issue as a cynical sales tool, like the tools he used when he ripped people off in Trump University. I'm sorry, I think Donald Trump is lying to the voters. I don't think he's going to build a wall. He's already said, he said on Sean Hannity 3 nights ago that the issue of offering amnesty without deportation to all the illegals in America is negotiable. He's saying that now during the campaign. Imagine what he's going to say when the Democrats and the liberal Republicans and big business all put pressure on him on the immigration issue.
Okay.
He's already let us know that he's a cheap tent that's going to fold. Ted Cruz wouldn't, and that's why I think conservatives and Republicans should rally behind Ted Cruz as an alternative to Donald Trump.
Okay, now, well,
because I don't think they will, though. I think the establishment prefers Donald Trump because, as Bob Dole, king of the establishment, said, Donald Trump is malleable. Donald Trump will make deals with us. Ted Cruz wouldn't. What does that tell you?
Okay, but John, wait a minute. We're dancing around the maypole here and not really coming up with any answers. I'm going to now, today, right this minute, at exactly Idaho time, 10:45, appoint you as the campaign manager for Ted Cruz. What are you going to do to change things and change people's minds?
In the campaign?
Yeah.
I don't think the Cruz campaign can do it on its own. I think Marco Rubio needs to drop out of the race, as Rush Limbaugh has suggested, and endorse Ted Cruz. I think a Cruz-Rubio ticket could conceivably stop Donald Trump and would have a decent chance of winning in November. I think it has to be done through the primary process. I don't think we should be having backroom insider deals or a brokered convention or any of that garbage. If we can't beat Donald Trump in the primaries, he deserves the nomination. So we need to beat him in the remaining primaries. And for that, Ben Carson should get out of the way, John Kasich should get out of the way, and Marco Rubio should get out of the way. Otherwise, Donald Trump is going to win the Republican nomination. And I don't know whether he'll win the general election. It's a real gambler's shot. But I think in many ways he's a weak candidate. He has as many scandals as Hillary Clinton, so you can't run on that. He's shaky on the abortion issue. I don't trust him on immigration. So I think nominating Trump is a very risky bet.
Okay, but
you're opening a casino in Atlantic City, and those tend to fold.
I agree with you there. Now, again, I want to go back to immigration because I do a lot of segments every week on immigration, and I'm not going to call it immigration. I'm going to call it illegal immigration because we have a major problem with people coming into this country illegally. We don't have a vetting process. We don't know who they are. We need to stop and shore up our borders. Who is going to really buck the system to get this done? Because it's not going to be easy in the halls of Congress to get them to go along with your thoughts.
Well, that's true, but you've got to see that with the House Republicans who stopped the Gang of Eight, and the Senate Republicans led by Jeff Sessions and Ted Cruz. So the Congress is already on board for a more rational position on immigration. That's why President Obama had to use an illegal executive amnesty. The general public is behind us. Most Republican voters are behind us. The billionaire donors like Paul Singer, Marco Rubio's biggest backer, the Koch brothers, they are behind open borders because cheap labor benefits them. The Democrats are behind open borders because cheap votes benefit them. But the American public and most of the Republican Party stand in roughly the same position where Ted Cruz does. We need much stricter immigration enforcement. We need to change legal immigration to shift it to more skilled people, get rid of the visa lottery, get rid of this ridiculous chain migration, re-examine birthright citizenship so you don't have people dropping anchor babies and collecting welfare just because they gave birth at an American airport. A lot of things need to change, but there is public support, and I think that the strength of Donald Trump should be seen in large part as American anger at the way elites in this country and elites running the Republican Party have milked the system for their own personal benefit.
I agree with that. Now, I'm going to ask one final thought here this morning. I said earlier this morning also that the debate tonight, to me, is nothing more than a waste of network time. And I'll tell you why, John. I think it's going to be nothing more than an obnoxious alley brawl. It's not going to be substantive. It's not going to give out any information on policy. It's going to be a backyard brawl. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it will, and I think that's necessary, frankly, because I think the other Republicans have been afraid of Donald Trump until the most recent debate. They've been afraid of alienating him. They've been hoping he would implode on his own, that he would blow out to sea like a tropical storm, and now they have to address him head on. And they're gonna get down in the gutter to some degree. Marco Rubio certainly got down in the gutter at the last debate. I think Ted Cruz stayed pretty true to speaking about principles and policies. And it's my hope that the candidates will reveal their character, reveal their temperaments, and that voters will respond accordingly. Again, I'm not getting my hopes up. I think it's very likely Donald Trump will get the nomination, and very likely that he will lose to the Democrats. In fact, here's what I really think. If it's clear that Donald Trump is going to get the nomination, I can see the Democratic Party forcing Hillary out. Having the FBI do that investigation, leak something about her so she has to leave the race, and Joe Biden coasts in. And Joe Biden would clobber Donald Trump. He would win 47 states.
Well,
that's what I'm really afraid of.
Be that as it may, I want to stick with the front runners as we have them now. Final thought, John. Doesn't it surprise you, as a student of politics and writing about these various individuals, doesn't it not only surprise you but literally shock you that a woman that's a liar, a fraud, and a charlatan and possibly will be indicted for felony charges, doesn't it surprise you that she, Hillary Clinton, has the support that she has?
It doesn't surprise me because the Democratic Party is a party of machines. It was always the party of labor unions, of big organizations, and what you've got is public employee unions, people who work for the government, marching in lockstep as an organized machine behind Hillary Clinton. The Democrats have long been the party of big city corrupt political machines. What Hillary Clinton has got is a national corrupt political machine that uses taxpayer money, that uses massive off-the-books, quasi-illegal donations to promote its agenda. The idea that idealists run the Democratic Party, that hasn't been true for a long time. So I'm not surprised at the prominence of a corrupt Democrat. It's actually par for the course.
I really enjoyed having you on the program this morning. John Zmirak with The Stream. Come back again soon, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very interesting man, and wrote a very good story on The Stream regarding Donald Trump and immigration policies, or the lack thereof. And we will see. Tonight's the debate. We will see what's going to happen. Holy smokes, I'm running late. And as usual, what else is new? Scarro's Meat's going to bring us the weather this hour, and they're located at 331 North Road, Jerome. And the number to call, 324... Excuse me for choking. 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. And don't forget, they've got that tax return meat bundle. Oh, it's good. 70-plus pounds of beef and pork and chicken for only $249 plus tax. Oh, delicious. Your hometown meat cutter, Scarro's Meats. Here is Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch as we do get one day closer to the weekend. Looks like afternoon rain showers are in our forecast. It's going to be partly cloudy for most of the day, but as we move into the afternoon, rain showers are possible. Winds out of the west right around 13 miles an hour. Expect a high of 58. Tonight, low of 37. Tomorrow, getting warmer. Partly cloudy, high of 62 with an overnight low of 41. Saturday, cloudy and 63. And then for Sunday, it's all going to change. Temperatures are going to drop to about 47. It's going to be windy and rainy as well. Overnight low of 33 and then cloudy and 50 for Monday. That is your weather for Zeb Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Excellent job. Brought to everybody this hour by Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew at Scarrow's Meats, and they're located at 331 North Road, Jerome, number 324-7657, and they are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Next week is a big week, and of course on Tuesday, Primary Tuesday, also the vote for the Cassius School Bond election, and I urge you to go vote next Tuesday. And of course we're going to have a lot of interesting guests all next week, all through the course of the week, from Monday all the way up until Thursday, and we certainly appreciate all your calls and your patronage of this program. I have undoubtedly the greatest listeners in the world, and I thank you for all of your support. Want to also acknowledge our friends. Did you ever have that feeling that you're going to sneeze any minute and your nose is itching and everything and you're trying not to make it show, but whew, I feel better now. Thank you. Didn't sneeze. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. Oh my, you want to dress up your 4-wheeled wonder? Well, they've got a lot of those great, good-looking custom wheels. And you know about all the other items that they have, like, of course, the best in tires. You know that. Tires for every kind of vehicle, cars, pickups, SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, whatever, they're all there. And, of course, the best in brake service. Really the best brake value promise in the industry. Professionally trained technicians that really know brakes. Along with front end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. They've got all the batteries that you need right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Center. 7 locations to serve you. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Absolutely great folks serving you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I have got a lot of things planned depending upon the weather. And whatever you do, remember this program next Monday at 8:06. We'll be back in the saddle and ride for 3 hours again, Zeb at the Ranch. Now, before I leave this morning, I had a lot of people that have called me or sent emails, and they say, hey, we'd like to get your blog every week, Cow Pies and Coffee Cups. Please just go to zebbell.com. And you'll see how to get it with your address so we can start sending you that blog every week, Cow Pies and Coffee Cups. And then tell your friends and neighbors that are out of this area if they want to listen to the program, they can on the internet with our internet service. Again, zebbell.com, and just click on the audio, and you can even watch it. We've got cameras here in the studio, and you can enjoy, maybe not enjoy seeing me and our guests, but I hope you'll enjoy it. Again, zebbell.com. Thanks for listening, and of course my old buddy over at the studio doing a great job, Old Wheels. I hope you have a great weekend, and remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless you and your family. We'll see you at 8:06 Monday.